Well, soldiers' screams are the sounds that you hear in your dreams. Well, that's shell shock. And if you're the last to put on your mask when there's gas, well, that's shell shock. And if you try to tell the doctor that makes you cry, then you'll be shocked. You don't know what you've got till you've got your life shell shock.
God King Country Music really tells the story of a group of 14, mostly young men who are all in the same trench in the first 10 months of the First World War, and the soldiers are all come to the war, some of them having lied about their age, some of them joining up because their parents persuaded them to do it, none of them all that particularly keen. And the story covers various issues, including the fact that the soldiers actually feel that they were being lied to go into the war, and it shows how the war or being at war changed them as young people and how it affected them in their relationships with each other.
Have you got a wife?
Clara.
What's that?
Clara.
Well, she's waiting for you. You're going to see Clara again really soon. Don't think about this place. Think about your family, people you love. Forget all they told you about dying for your God or king and country. It's your family that matter.
As Sergeant Elder, I first meet Private Young while comforting a dying soldier, and from there we start to build a friendship, and I take Private Young underneath my wing because he joined the army as a young boy.
I can hear there's a sound of bells in your hometown. You'll be there soon, don't feel lonesome. They say welcome home, son. Feel your mother and father's hands on your shoulders. So just hang on, soldier. It gets better later.
But as the war wanes on, it gets to Christmas, they were told that the war would be over by Christmas time and stuff like that. Sergeant Elder as a character begins to become what he was protecting Private Young from becoming, and eventually Private Young is protecting Sergeant Elder, trying not to let him get shell shocked, him get scared, and for him to desert and stuff like that. And upon that, the play is based.
At night in the blood and gore, he sits and writes to his wife, darling, this is now the story of my life. And if he dies, he'll fall face down in the hellfire. Though the last things he sees are his children. He lives in a trench just to wait for the call. He's given up on making sense of it all.
Well, the music in the show, I feel it was incredibly powerful. Like, you could take all the dialogue out of the show and I feel you could still have a show based on just the songs, like the lyrics, and if you sit back and you really listen to them, they're meaningful and they all tell their own story, they develop the story. Like,
his father said he should be long, his father's father still remembered the Empire song, so he swore that he was 16 to the man who said he'd be home by December. As he took his hand, he to quell the thoughts in himself to say, now gone, he serves his country well.
the song, He Serves His Country Well, it's about signing up for the war and sort of the false things you're fed about what the war is going to be like. So you're told the war is going to be, you'll be home, you'll be back, and you're not going to do any real fighting. It's just you're there and that's it. I feel the lyrics were just very meaningful and they made the show.
I think that when I first wrote God King Country Music, or first started writing it, the aim was to try and create something which young people could take part in, which would evoke an idea about the extent to which young people of a current school age volunteered to go off and fight in a war 100 years ago, and convey to an audience that people they were looking at on stage might well be acting as soldiers, but they were acting as soldiers who were pretty much the same age as them, maybe a year or two older.
I'm not a coward.
You are.
I am not a coward. How could you even think that?
How could I help it?
Well, maybe I'll become one. But anyway, if it wasn't for war-hungry young men like you, then Britain or Germany or any bloody country wouldn't be able to wage war on each other. Yeah, and I wouldn't have meant you to get me into this bigger mess. I mean, look at me. Look who I am. Look what I've become.
I think that God King Country Music's a really good learning resource for like first, second, third year, because everybody knows that in 1914 there was soldiers in the trenches and they were fighting on no man's land, but not everybody knows about how that impacted the soldiers, how that impacted their families, how that impacted generations to come.
Oh, look what I've become, Mom. You can see that I've been had. Daddy, don't you tell my little brother to join like all the others. It isn't worth it.
People don't understand that battle that went on for 4 years impacted people for the rest of their lives, and people lived with shell shock, and people had to desert, and people committed suicide because of the World War I. And I don't think that that's taught in the textbooks, but it is taught in God King Country Music.
Even the people who came to see it, they've all been touched by the play in a way, like just the way, all the emotions and just the hard-hitting facts of what life was like back then. It's just really hit home, and everyone, not just me, they've all just gained massive respect and massive, just it's opened their eyes to the sacrifice that these men gave back then just for us to be here today.
Though I'm standing here, my friends are near, I know. Though all is one, we're all alone. Though I'm standing here, my friends are near, I know. Though all is one, we're all alone.
Great honour for the school to contribute to South Lanarkshire's commemoration of 100 years since the First World War commenced. By being able to perform God King and country music both within the school and the Memorial Hall has given vast numbers of people across South Lanarkshire the opportunity to share in the events of that time. It was a very emotional occasion because it did encapsulate the context of war and the impact it has on families and countries. From our own in-school performance, from the pupils from other South Lanarkshire establishments who saw the performance on Thursday afternoon, and from a diverse audience on Thursday evening in the Memorial Hall, all the feedback's been incredibly positive and really has been such a motivation for the performers and writers.
But my heart's right there.